What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of TNAIW Reaction. My name is Geoff, and I'm excited to be back here talking to you guys. If you checked in last week, kind of had a random show, something that popped up with all the news coming out. Wanted to be able to talk to you guys. So I don't know if this is going to be weekly, but I'm still going to try to stay in the thick of things, still try to give you guys some content on this channel, get everyone back on this channel as weather permits. That's not the right term. But yeah, I got some fun things to talk about. I'm actually filming this right after Impact, so really hyped from the episode that was. We got some talking points. We'll hit a hot news, not even that crazy, but it was last week, and I still want to touch on it because there's not really anything that crazy happening since all this news. So I want to hit on that, and then a little bit of news for this channel as well. Luch and I brainstorming, just playing around, trying to have some fun, keep the mind busy. We'll give you a little insight towards the end of the show. But let's get right into Impact on Access TV. There's about 5 points that I really want to make, and then some other things I'll hit throughout. But one, we're going to start with a little laugh. We all can use a laugh, and in this case, it's we're still following through with the Santino whodunit. Dango no longer the Deputy Director of Authority, now coming in as the Detective of Authority. I think that's right, but getting back to his roots here, a la the Fashion Files. Tyler Breeze actually making an appearance via picture in the back, the web of who could have tagged Santino here. Yeah, look, I enjoy the breakup of, the typical wrestling dynamics. Okay. This is a little something different. It's got some comedy. It gives Joe Hendry, who's a part of this, something to do, especially for breaking his nose. So it gets him on there. I think there's another reason he's on there, but we'll get to that. I want to point out the great pictures that were in the back. There was a Tomko sighting. There's a Trey who will actually have a funny moment later as he's accused of attacking Santino. Good logic, by the way. He was the one put in the match, forced to be in a three-way match, and then Santino was attacked, so I like that. Who else do we see? Tony Chimmel in there. There's a Mike Tenay. Who else am I missing? I said Tomko. Burgess Meredith's made an appearance. George Michaels. So some really good stuff. They're going to bring it when it comes to the comedy. But I said it last week and the week before, I think, as well. When it came to Dango, he knows obviously the next step to be taken more seriously is to be more serious. And I don't know if that's the route they're going. I think it was our buddy Millard who actually said in the comments that Dango is the one that attacked Santino, and I was okay. That makes sense if you're gonna take that turn. But I think this little segment here, these next two that popped up on the show, really kind of sold that home. He's wearing a hat. Piece of hair's missing. Hendry's in the picture, which so much love for Hendry, which he started with, but I just think if he's going to turn and it's going to reveal, it's going to set up a feud with him and Hendry. And I like that. I like the comedy aspect of this, but when Santino's in the picture, you can cover it there. Hendry does a great job of that as well. So for Dango to, ride out this character on a high note, be revealed as possibly the attacker of Santino, it's a good place to start. So I'm excited to see the outcome of this. It adds a little laugh in the meantime. And if we get to that Hendry versus Dango, I'm all for it. Next up, we're going to talk about Undead Realm. Nothing crazy here. Obviously, last week, Steve was telling Rosemary that you got to call Mitchell. And in this episode, James Mitchell, Father James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, makes a return, which anytime he's on the screen, I love. So happy to see him back. And we don't know what Rosemary's gonna have to give to get here, but she's being blocked from the Undead Realm, so he's gonna be her guide. Havoc's gonna have to stay. What do I see coming out of this? I thought originally we're going to get, Sue's going to come back and it's going to turn Havoc or Jessica back into Havoc. Either we, have a Havoc and Sue thing. We have a Havoc and Rosemary still, and Sue brings someone, more tag teams. Could that possibly still be the goal here? I think so. But I have just following the breadcrumbs, spoiler free, by the way. But just following the breadcrumbs, I think it's possible that we get a little a little different side of Rosemary compared to the other side of Havoc. And I'm not against this whatsoever, because I think the more, just like they did with Sue and Susie, and the other one that's escaping me right now, Susan, they could do that with Rosemary and maybe Rush or Havoc and Jessica. Add more depth to these characters, so anytime the Undead Realm, is integrated into the show, the possibility of a character change is present, which is still fun to do. Gives them something else to do than just be dark, decay-like all the time. So I think this part's cool. And then I think it allows the possibility for other dark entities to take place, or come forward. So if it is Sue coming back, she's Sue, right? And then you're not having, 3-4 segments, including the Hex, oh my God, the Coven, all doing dark magic and all that stuff. So it does break that up as well. So I dig that. Excited to see where this goes. At the end of the day, just want tag teams to stay together, more tag teams to come out of this, and hopefully a Sue return. And also, of course, James Mitchell being on screen is a good time. Next, we're going to go to Gresham and Bayley. Hitting this because not only was it Gresham Bayley 4, it is the main event, but I noticed some chatter out there of the same match. I don't. This is what we call a rivalry. And I dig it. Look, it looks like Bayley's gonna take a break to go to Japan for a bit. Good way to get Gresham up in the win column. I loved how they said it was a 1-1-1 because they had the break up at the last one, and then we're not going to include the X Division match. But I'm not tired of this match. I don't know if you guys are, but I dig this way. We have a lot of I want your title. We have a lot of dark magic. We have different reasons for people to hate each other or feud over. Sometimes it's nice just to have one that's straight rivalry. You beat me, I beat you, I respect you, but at the end of the day, I want to know I'm better than you. And for these two dudes who are, mechanics, ring generals, whatever the hell you want to call it, that don't disappoint when that bell rings, I think it was a great pairing to have with this, or to use this kind of storyline, or lack thereof, depending how you look at it, to play with. And I thought it was good for them. If it goes best of 7, I'd be happy. But, once again, they didn't disappoint. The crowd between both, which I dig. Gresham coming out with the water bottle. I don't know if that's to bite, so we don't know if he's going to win or lose. I don't know. No, just going after the joke I made last time. But, yeah, man, I dug this. I continue to dig this. And is it nice to have fresh matchups all the time? I don't know. I can't even just agree to that. Because, yes, fresh matchups are nice, having new people in there or just having different feuds. Yes, I love. But at the same time, you want some familiarity. You want some one-upsmanship. And I think this delivers. So I'm not complaining here. Once again, I'm a sucker for, the Cruiserweight division, the X division in their heydays. And, even if it was Eddie Ray, Kidman Ray, Hoovy, Psychosis, whatever it was, Malenko, did I mention it? Malenko, Jericho, all those people intertwined. Sometimes you got the same matchup, but no one gave a shit. Same with Low Key and Joe, or Low Key and AJ, or any of those matches back in the day. Shit, Kid Cash and AJ. So to have these again that just put some meat on the bones of these competitors without having to go into the, you took my title or you stabbed me in the back or any of that, I think is pretty cool. Speaking of different ways to get to the same point, we're going to go to challengers because even though I did depth charts a couple weeks ago, everyone in that world title picture that I had on the screen, besides Nick Aldis, is not present in this. So good time to be, excited for Macklin's reign, because it looks like they're lining up challengers for him. They are going to be different matchups. I already alluded to Aldis, so I'll start there. He's going to be, I won't say sidetracked, but first tested, by Sheldon Jean, which is now the protege tag team, we don't know yet, of Kenny King. But he's going to be approached by Kenny King during his interview with Jimmy Jacobs. Once again, I love the presentation of this. Makes Aldis feel like a big deal. Rolling Jimmy Jacobs out there. I like the look of it, the presentation. Aldis is hitting all the right notes of what he's saying and doing. You know, I got to work from the bottom up. That belt has the lineage. He makes that belt feel important. So for that reason, great challenger whenever that may be. But he's going to be sidetracked by Kenny King, who, once again, I hope in 2024 has world title aspirations. He has all of it, man. He has the history and the lineage there. I don't know if Aldis had it right. I don't know if he won the world title before Kenny King came in. I don't think that's right. But Kenny's been around the block too. And if he stays, I'll say depending, but also regardless of who else comes in, the dude has the talent and the ability to be in the thick of things. And in this promo, he shows why. Really dug it, man. The back and forth between them, it just felt like a different level. Dig it. So at least Nick Aldis will be in the picture. When that is, I don't know. The other one I mentioned is part of a backstage segment that happened is Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley putting his name in the hat there. Sabin obviously getting that match at Under Siege for the X Division title, which we kind of predicted or thought would happen based on him picking up the pin in the multi-man match. But I guess all it takes is hey, I pinned the champ. Can I get a match? You got it. So Scott grants him the match, and I don't think anyone's going to complain. We're going to get Sabin versus Trey at Under Siege. But that leaves Shelley to do something. And Gia asked Shelley, well, what's he going to do? And, well, I don't see Kushida, even though we show the time machine shirt. So he's not going for tag. He's going for the world. And cool statement. Kind of shook me for a second. But I like this, man. Because he is one of those talented people, just like Kazarian, just like Kenny King, who never got a chance to win the world title. Now he has had the chance. But to be a credible opponent is that next step. And I know that's pretty cool that they're at least, even if it doesn't happen this month, because obviously PCO is next up at Under Siege, they're lining up the challenges for Macklin. Be it Aldis, be it Kazarian, or be it, in this instance, Alex Shelley. So pretty cool to see that they're finding all different avenues to keep Macklin's reign busy until the inevitable, I think, the Aldis, but also the inevitable return of Josh. Next is the big ticket item, man. Trinity debuts. And I actually just got a text from Lucha before I got on here just saying this, I'll edit it, but feels like a big deal. And it did. You know, one of the bittersweet things we talked about, him and I, were just, wouldn't this have been so dope if it was at the Rebel? It would have been even better. But the crowd was into this. I'm glad they're giving her an entrance that feels appropriate. Did it with Mia as well. Obviously, this feels on a, no offense to Mia, I love Mia, of course, but just a different level here. And I think part of it was not just because it's an entrance, it's in a debut that we're excited for, but they set her up for success. She says her gist, you know, obviously we'll get her, you know, into a little more on her in just a second, but they bring out Deonna, they bring out Jordynne, and it just feels like a big deal. And that's really cool, man. I saw a lot of people, you know, compare this to this or that from TNA lore. And I spoke my piece last week of how big of a deal I believe this to be. You know, and you see names like Kurt Angle thrown out there. It's as big as the Kurt Angle. And I don't know about that. You know, I'll reel us in just a little bit because Kurt was a perennial world title contender, main eventer. Locked that down from that point forward. Am I saying Trinity can't do that world title picture for the knockouts? No. But at the same time, you know, I'm not too familiar with Trinity's work. But if she's the second coming of Kurt Angle, then so be so be it between those ropes. But Kurt Angle's just a credible different level, man. Could you say Christian because she chose to cross the line? That's the key here. And yes, I love that they utilized all the things from the TMZ interview to the Chicago NBC interview and all of those Wrestle Talk and all those people, Ring the Bell, all the people that interviewed her, they utilized at the beginning, got the most out of this they possibly could, treated it like a big deal. But, with Christian, he chose to come here. And it felt like the same with Trinity. You don't think there were options? I think she felt exactly what she said. This is the best place for me to become who I'm going to be, to glow, to shine, to do all those things that maybe she didn't get the chance to do prior. And it was a guarantee for her to be in the thick of things. And that's not shitting or saying that, this roster isn't deep. We all know, come on. I covered it last week and I'll continue to cover it until it's not true anymore. But this is the best Knockouts roster in a very long time, if not the best. And that's hard. Day one, it's hard for me to say that. And she pointed out why. There's Kongs, there's Gail Kims, there's so many people. There's Mickie James. That is a good comparison, by the way. Because when Mickie James came back, she was still the star that Mickie James was after leaving the E. It was a little different because she had came here before, I love that Jeff Jarrett once said that she could have been the AJ of TNA for the Knockouts and homegrown kind of thing and made it big. I think that's very plausible. But yeah, there's no way you can't look at this and say it didn't feel like a big deal. I like the mentions of the walkout and the firing. They got a little heat there. Jordynne got to play off that when she came in. But as far as, overall, I couldn't be happier with the outcome of this. How did you guys feel? Did you feel like it was as a big deal as you were hoping for? Do you think this was a good episode for maybe, the first time reviewers or viewers of Impact to watch? Thought it was a pretty good episode. And I will say, I think we retweeted a couple more people subscribing to the channel. Not ours, but thank you for those that are 377. But subscribing to Impact's channel, subscribing to their app, and posting it because of Trinity signing. So that's all. That's all That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Now I want to talk about hottest news real quick. It's a quick one, and it's news still because he's one of those guys, man. He's always going to attract attention, heat, spotlight, whatever, with whatever he does. And I think this one's very simple. I think there's a couple things I want to hit on CM Punk about. Obviously, set the table. He went to WWE Raw, was asked to leave politely, and he politely left. No big deal. It was just seeing people. Remind you, he is under AEW contract. But going there, no disruptions, whatever. Same goes for Impact. They're near Chicago as well. He stops by. Tamina connection, I don't know. Both places when he's there. But he goes backstage and there's rumor, he's talking to the younger talent. He's telling them, they're telling him how much they, love his stuff, vice versa. He's putting people aside and talking to them, paying respects, whatever. Fitting in, playing Uno. Two things that are important with this. One, the why. Everyone's making their own opinions of whatever. I understand that he's a polarizing character. But this is one of those things where I think we have to take a step back and you got to rip the bias from it. No matter if you're a fan of him, you're a fan of the Elite, you're a fan of AEW or not. Whatever it is. And just say that maybe it's a little bit of everything. But I think there's a point in what he's doing here that is trying to show his point elsewhere. Which is he can come into a locker room and he can, to people who are willing, to a good environment with good energy, with good vibes, take advice or give compliments or fit in or just play Uno. I think there's a point behind this. Do I think he shows up and he's a Impact roster member? No. Could it happen? You never say never. At the end of the day, I just would like for everyone, because he's going to come back in some capacity, if it's here, if it's wherever it is. When or where, excuse me. I didn't mean here. To be open-minded, let the talent speak for itself, and root for the best outcome for all. Dude is uber talented, and for anyone who keeps saying, oh, back in the day, this would have been... Dude's only 44. We're still on the nuts of Jericho's 52. Okay? We're still... There's a lot of people that are pushing it, and the fact that he's only 44, and I say only because in today's day and age, doesn't really matter. But it is funny that back in the day, when WCW was considered old, Hogan was, I think, 44 for most of that big, or the end of the run there in WCW. So interesting. But either way, I hope the best for everyone. But it is pretty cool that he got to come backstage, shoot the shit, and seem to be a good time. And now, speaking of good times, before I go, I told you I mentioned the new show that Lucha and I are coming up with. I'm going to throw a sneak peek right here. In the zone. And then explain a little bit about what it is. It is a 2K series, TNA 2K. We're going to be doing working with Io on the Twitter page. You'll see him coming up because the 7th and 8th seeds in our Ryder Cup, 2023 Ryder Cup, to crown the world champion of this TNA 2K, will be decided by you guys. There'll be 4 different polls coming out this week from ECW bracket, AEW bracket, Pop TV bracket, and Impact bracket. The 4 winners of that will be the 7th and 8th seeds that you see or just saw in that image. It'll be a good time. It's simple content. It's fun content. And it's something just to fill the channel and for you guys to interact and us just to sit back and enjoy. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this reaction. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow Go Power Rankings on Rangers of Wrestling at the moment. Look forward to more shows coming out on this channel. I want to thank everybody also for all the comments, all the tweets. Chris Saletta, Millard, Jamie Stay Ready, Norris Sparks I saw in there. Anyone new who subscribed and commented as well, or continues to subscribe and like and continues to stick around. I appreciate you. Now we go. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.